OK, well, when a bunch of military wives thought that it might be nice to get together and have a little bit of a sing-song, they ended up with a Christmas #1 and they performed it in front of the Queen.
Well, Carrie's been finding out if a group of fishermen's wives and families could do the same thing.
It's the most dangerous job in the UK. Each year, around 25 fishing vessels never make it safely back to shore, and an average of 68 fishermen are killed or seriously injured. That means that the fisherman that caught this for me to enjoy today has a 1 in 20 chance of being killed at sea during his working life.
On November the 10th, 2008, Colin went to work, but a freak storm sprang up just after lunchtime and his little trawler sank and he was drowned. Jane Dolby's husband, Colin, wasn't found until 8 months after he went missing. Without the body, Jane wasn't able to get a death certificate and therefore couldn't get the financial support she was entitled to. We would have lost everything and we would have been homeless had it not been for incredible people who came along to help us. I actually felt very, very loved and supported by my community. So I had this idea of recording a song. Within a short amount of time, tons and tons of people have made contact. I just said yes to everybody. Today, Jamie is in Hastings to get together all those people for the first time.
How many amongst all these guys would consider themselves to be singers? Put your hand up.
They have less than 48 hours to rehearse before they go into the recording studio. Today, I'm going to give them a tiny bit of coaching. It's not just about the singing that they've come for, it's for the companionship, it's to share a very common story.
We were married for 4 days before he went back to sea. And 4 days after that, I got the knock on the door to say that he'd passed away.
My dad was lost at sea when I was 5 years old. His body was never recovered. The story of fishing is like an untold war because many men go to sea, but not all of them come back again.
Can you hear that? They're all like, the sound is like, right, so now let's add.
Phil, you famously work with the military wives.
I did, yes.
How do the Fishwives Choir pair up?
It's one thing doing a rehearsal, but once you get into the microscopic nature
recording process.
of the recording process, then you really get to hear, you know, the individual voices to the individual characters.
My favourite line that you've sung so far is, "Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea." So what you have the added advantage of is you've all got stories and a history to tell that you are so connected to this song in a way that people that don't have that history don't have that connection. When you sing that line, that's got to mean something to you. It's got to cost you.
Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, all those in peril on the sea.
Yeah. Now you're singing.
Sounding beautiful there. It's an emotional one tonight, isn't it? Felicity, we were just talking there during that film that your uncle used to have a shipping business, and
Yes, he did in India. He was in the Navy, as was my dad when they were very young. They fell in love with India, and he started a shipping fleet, a cargo. And he used to take me sailing and with my dad around Bombay. And I was taught very early on that however glorious the sea is, it's a dangerous beast, and you have to respect it. Yeah. It's not just sunny beaches and lovely. It's really, really deep respect, and it is dangerous. And that story is heartbreaking.
And of course, Carrie, that's what brought all these women together, the stories they've got, and tragic stories, most of them. And you say in the film about singing from the heart. You know, what difference does that make then?
Huge. I mean, there are proven health benefits anyway to singing, but I think for some people, when they are grieving, singing can be like letting out that voice, allowing yourself. Some people find that really hard to do, but actually it can be incredibly healing.
And the money raised is going to the Fisherman's Mission. It must have been a very emotional weekend, but how did the recording go?
I think it went really well. Their producer, Phil DeCosta, you know, brilliant guy. But
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a chat with Jane today, the main lady there you saw, and she was saying it's the best she's felt since Colin passed away. She's had real breakthroughs. So she said it's been the most incredible 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it'll make them feel a lot better and, you know, get them a new set of friends as well. But how will they fare in the charts, do you think? Historically, how do choirs fare in the charts?
Well, it's interesting. There haven't actually been that many choirs that have released singles. You know, you have to have the heart, you have to have the great song. Looking at Military Wives, that was last year. If you want to go back to the last #1, you'd have to go all the way back to 1980 with the St Winifred's Choir. There's no one quite like Grandma, if you remember this.
Grandma, we love you. Grandma, we do. Though you may be far away, we think of you.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Good Life. We were just saying that. I don't know how.
But, you know, there are lots of groups have used choirs, so not necessarily choir solos as themselves, but Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall, Madonna's Like a Prayer, then you've got ABBA's I Have a Dream, and then there's this.
Yes.
Rolling Stones.
It is the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want. Yeah. And one of my favourites actually goes back to 1997, that's right. And this was Lady Smith Black Mambaza. And it was interesting because they did that amazing album with Paul Simon, Graceland. But it was when they did a ketchup advert that their own single really took off. They got to #2, they sold 1 million copies, and who would have thought, you know, they do all that work for apartheid and then it's a ketchup advert that helps them to catch on here.
Wow.
Now that is singing from the heart.
That is singing from the heart. Carrie, thank you so much.
Thank you.